lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́ làbẹ̀wò ìkúkú ìdùnkù lóko Podium International wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́ látìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń bàbọ̀ wọn ò fìgbà kan tẹ́rì o wọ́n ti wá ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbé bẹ̀bẹ̀ dé Podium Cinema ni wọ́n tún gbé dé Podium Cinema lórí YouTube ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn kẹ́ ẹ subscribe ibẹ̀ lẹ́tì mọ̀ wọ àwọn àjá àbálẹ̀ fíìmù ẹ̀dọ̀kí fíìmù tó léfo gan tààrà Podium Cinema mo bẹ́rí fún yín fíìmù mẹ́sàn-án ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n kó jáde o àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbé fíìmù èkíní májẹ̀mú ẹ̀gbọ́n èkejì my wet ẹ̀kẹta ọmọ ẹni ẹ̀kẹrin àlàmú èkó ẹ̀karùn-ún àìmọ̀ ṣe wá rí pé nǹkan kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgbó ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ eléyìí lẹ́ti kẹjù èdè Yorùbá ni wọ́n fi ṣe àwọn fíìmù yìí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà sẹ́ẹ̀kẹsàn-án èdè òyìnbó ni wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀kẹfà tẹ́mà èkeje the casting ẹ̀kẹjọ M1 the detective ẹ̀kẹsàn-án 100 M1 the detective at 100 orí síríìsì lẹ́fì máa wò ó ìyẹn dàgbéléwò nìyẹn Podium International Podium Cinema ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn lórí YouTube wọ́n wà lórí Facebook wọ́n wà lórí Instagram Podium Cinema ó ti dọbẹ̀ ẹ subscribe.
Good evening, our lovely listeners. Welcome to today's program, Matters Arising. I remember your humble self, Kayode Emola. I have with me in the studio your regular anchor, Dr. Seyi Adesanya, and Mr. Alex Oluwole Ajala, who would also be joining me on today's program. Before we go into today's program, which has to do with the Naira redesign, I will call Dr. Seyi Adesanya to say hello to our viewers.
Good evening, our viewers. We want to thank you again for joining this broadcast. We hope it's going to be enjoyable to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's welcome Mr. Alex Oluwole Ajala.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you for having us again and listening to what we have to share with you. I hope we are going to enjoy the time together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we'll be looking at two topics today: the Naira redesign and security and insecurity. But when it comes to security, we would probably expatiate on that. But everything in America, they say follow the money. Once you follow the money, it tells you what is really going on. So a few weeks ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria started screaming, there is no money, there is no money. There is no money, there is no money. And he said, okay, the money is in the economy, but the money is not coming back to the bank, which means the money is not circulating. And their genius plan is to redesign the Naira. Now, the Naira in the parallel market, I don't know why there has to be a market and there has to be a parallel market. So somebody designed that. I don't know why they have to design a currency like that. So they have a market and they have a parallel market. So why have two markets in the first place before we even go to the Naira design? Maybe Dr. Adesanya can help us take that. Why have two markets, the normal market and the parallel market? So which market should consumers go to when they're looking for money, especially the Naira?
Well, thank you, Mr. K. I am not a financial expert. However, I think looking at serious systems all over the world, I am not sure if we have any country that has the kind of system that we have in our financial system in Nigeria. Well, like you have just said, we have, two markets. We have one being run by government and another one being run by a set of cabals. When we look at those who run the other market, it brings to question what kind of system do we, have? Um, it is not a new thing that those who run that other market are a people from a particular section of the country, and one begins to wonder what is the agenda. And like you said, he who has a grip over money, he who has a grip over the financial situation of a system determines what happens in that system, you know. And I mean, it's not a major instrument apart from, the military, you know, that this section of the country has used to lock that system, that country down, and
Now,
use
there's
their.
something you did mention there, and I will call Baba Jala to highlight more on it. You talked about the Kaaba. When I was born and growing up to today, we've been hearing Kaaba, Kaaba. This Kaaba, do they change in every regime, or are they faceless? I know Donald Trump then was in America was saying, oh, there's the deep state. There's the deep state. I live in the United Kingdom. The pounds is the pounds. And when I need that pounds, it's the £1 is £1. So I don't need to go and buy £1 in one market and pound in another market. So also is the dollar. Recently, I went to Ireland and the exchange rate was just one when I changed pounds to euros. When you're changing pounds to dollars, it's the same thing. But in Nigerian case, the reverse is the case. Now, doing my research this week, it would surprise you to note that the Naira in the official rates, official markets, was doing well against the pounds. At the same time, it was doing badly in the parallel market. So £1 at the beginning of the year was about 530 Naira around February, March. As of today, is 499 in the official market. But when you go to the parallel market, it's £1 to 1,000, so which is double. Now, who is benefiting and what can Nigerians do? Who are these cabal? We keep hearing cabal, cabal. Do the cabal, do they change cloth? Do they change face? Do they change style? What is really happening? Baba Jalak, maybe you can enlighten us.
Unfortunately, we've inherited what has been happening even before independence. We have people who walk the streets of Lagos and other capitals carrying uh, foreign currency for us, the minor people of Nigeria, I will call it, to change, even for industry. You can only get the official Naira if you happen to know some of the big guns that are running the country. The cabal you talk about is supposed to be situated in Kaduna. They control the activities of the country. And that is why there are too many things linked to the cabal, not only the money. How can you imagine that a country, Nigeria, only recently started having borrowed the change? I hope you know that. Only recently, because they found it dirty and the white men who are coming and doing business cannot all the time be going to queue up at the central bank. So they found it repugnant. At some point, I remember the airport in Lagos suddenly had a Burundi change manned by a human being who can write, not a human being that can just count as they do. So I will tell you one little story about a friend who went to change money with this roadside bureau de change, which happens to be the official bureau de change in Nigeria from the 60s or even before the 60s. They are official. If you are a big businessman that wants to change millions, that's the only time you can venture into the central bank, not even the ordinary banks. And you have people who are going to be the point person you are going to speak to, not the real official. So we've been running our businesses in the very wrong way, right from even before independence, including certificates to import things. You have to buy it from people who have already been assigned to holding it. Assigned, not that they bought it, then they will now sell it to the industrialists and they make their profit. That's the way the federal government has been run all the years. It's unfortunate that those of us who think we are intelligent in the South have kept quiet and accepted this status quo over the years. When, as at that time, we could have been calling for the dissolution of that country. It's an amalgam in the first place. I keep on stressing. It was not working. It has not worked. That's why development has not come across with people who need to do development. If you ask from some of our elders who have been in business, who did genuine business, they tell you how they suffer to get their exchanges. And they sort of accept it as if it is the right thing to do. It's not. The cabal have been set up. Will I tell you, Balewa, who became our prime minister, was just what I'll call a stooge, was sent from the north to go and rule them in the south. If they like, they call you whatever they like, prime minister of Nigeria. The real leader of Nigeria was Ahmadu Bello. That's the fact. It's sent
So,
to
so,
them.
so, so that if I get you right, that is where the cabal started from,
Exactly.
1960, 61.
Even before then.
Yeah. When okay,
Even
so
before then.
and then we know Ahmadu Bello died, but the cabal never died.
No, it's a continuity.
Now, if I
Because it's a continuity of the vision of Usman Fodio.
if I get another thing right, this has been going on because I trace it back, and it's been going on as far back as the 1970s when we
Beyond.
started using naira, when we changed from naira from pounds to naira. Now, it's crazy because I don't know how any system can have two exchange rates simultaneously. The implication of that, what that has
They were
done,
trading with our money.
yeah, what
That's
that
the
has
job
done
they
is
had. We were the
the work.
stooges who went to farm to do the bulk of the jobs. They
So
would
there was
plant
no real
cocoa and all that.
productivity in the north. They just you just take 1 naira, go to the or take 1 naira, go to the central bank, because even when it was 1 naira to $1, it was still going on.
Yeah.
So they'll take 1 naira, get $2, and then come outside and sell it
At their own
at
rate.
2 naira, and then they're making instant profit without adding any value. In today's parlance, you take 1,000 naira to the bank, to the central bank, and you get $2. You come out and you sell it for 2,000 naira. So you're making 50% profit instantly without doing anything.
Any
And this
job.
is going on a massive scale. The implication of that is that now they don't have dollars to furnish various projects. And we heard recently Emirates left Nigeria. So are so many other airlines. And Emirates got so angry that they've had to cancel every visa every Nigerian passport holder who applied for visa, they are not the problem. The government is the problem. But they are saying, if you allow your government to do this, then we will punish you because you are the one electing those governments.
Yeah.
Not only that, no Nigerian is allowed to come to Emirates now. You can't even go there. Dr. Adesoya, now, this has been going on for quite a while, over several decades. What should our Yoruba people be doing, knowing that the system is rigged against them? Isn't it time for our people to begin to think that, hang on a minute, I'm going to work, I'm making £10,000, but somebody somewhere is stealing £5,000 from me without knowing. What should our people be doing? What should they be taking? Because this matter is a very serious matter. Over 80 million people are living in poverty, and yet the system is rigged against them. A majority of us who are in the diaspora are fueling these bad economics, and yet we keep quiet. What do you think we could do? I know you are not a financial expert. Maybe we'll bring a financial expert and they can help us look at it. Is the redesigning, we'll come to the redesigning of the Naira note, but what do you think our Yoruba people can do?
This is a big question, and like Abajala rightly said, it is something that we have allowed to take root. It started right in the 50s, and the unfortunate situation there is when those who designed all of this began, to carry it out. What they needed to do was to bring in some willing tools, amongst our own people. And so those ones threw away conscience, threw away what I would call, their ability to see into the future, their ability to see what, these northerners we are planning, the game plan. The fact that they were, in the film, they were benefiting from the system. That was all they needed to care about. And so, like Baba Jala rightly said, we allowed it. Even our leaders of the past, that's the Yoruba leaders of the past, allowed this to gain ground, get its taproot into the system. And so it has become a norm. It has become something that it is almost impossible for us to tackle now. And so, coming to your question, what do we do as Yoruba people? Now, like I said the other time, you have somebody coming into your house. Somebody says, I'm coming to take over your house. He has gotten into your street. He has gotten into your, compound. He's almost entering into in fact, he has entered into your living room. Now you look at all the resources that these people use, to, all the resources come from our own area. And then somebody comes, they bring rules and policies that only favors them and favors a few of their cronies down in the south here. And so we look the other way, and then we have slept for too long. We have slept for too long. And like people always say, your destiny has to be in your hand. It is unimaginable to fathom the fact that today a pound goes for over 1,000 naira. I can't imagine that. How do we how
And
do I,
even the naira about 50 years ago was higher than
yes,
the pound.
yeah.
So
So
who were the managers of? Let me come to Baba Jala on the issue of the redesigning of the naira note. Baba Jala, you live in the UK. I've been to Scotland. The Scottish pound is different from the English pound. The Irish pound, the Northern Ireland pound is different from the English pound. Now, we've even got a town, Bristol. I'm not sure of Brighton, but I know Bristol, we have Bristolian pound.
Yeah.
Could the Yoruba people be designing their own currency?
We don't have the financial platform on which we can do that because the country itself, as an amalgam, does not know its direction.
Yeah,
So, and if we want to design our own this thing, uh, at what are we going to base it on? A currency is based on your economy, and if you are in control of that economy, that's a fact in financial terms. The Bristolian pound had been merged into the British
British
economy.
pounds.
It's only in name that they have it, just like the Scottish pound from the Bank of Scotland and the Royal Bank of
But
Scotland.
the irony
It's
is
the
that,
same
but
value as
I'm
the
coming,
British.
Baba Jala. The irony is that the Bristolian pound, the difference is that that currency is penned within Bristol to keep the Bristol economy within Bristol.
Yeah.
So could we not do the same to keep Yoruba economy within
It,
Yoruba?
it cannot happen because of the nature of our setup. The nature
So
of our
how can we
setup,
change that
because
dynamic?
we are the only way to do it is to dissolve the amalgam. So everybody, just like I keep on repeating that I told Adobayero in 2001, that is 2001, when he sent somebody to me, that is best for everybody to go separate with the amalgam that's failed, so that everybody will rule his own area according to his own strength and all that. Even Balewa said it in 1953, but our people literally forced Balewa to accept the continuity of Nigeria. That's a fact, it's recorded. And in 57, we were goaded to leave Nigeria, but our leaders refused it, that we as Yorubas love to stay with Nigeria.
Now
That's our
I'll
leader.
bring
So
statistics.
if I want to expatiate further, if we want to try to do that, if I would want to remind you to, National Bank of Nigeria was the authentic central bank of the Nigeria as ruled by the
British.
British government as at the time, early in the 1930s up to the 40s. And do you know when the Central Bank of Nigeria, it was only in the 50s, because the North said, na Yoruba Bank. So they don't want federal government to be controlled by a Yoruba bank. But if the British, as at the time, saw the honesty and operations of the National Bank of Nigeria, find out this fact, and they decided to, instead of building another new uh,
Bank.
central bank, the Yorubas have already called it National Bank of Nigeria. So let us use it. And they started
So it's
using
just like building a vehicle
it. Yeah.
and ask everybody to come in.
Yeah, exactly. And furthermore, uh, British came to trade. I keep on saying that they did not want to do any further expenses in building a new national bank, but did not force them to do it. You see, that is one of the things most of our leaders and current ones don't know, that we
I,
keep
I,
on saying,
because of our time, I'm going to bring statistics into it.
yeah,
According to the uh, internet, Nigeria has over 40 trillion trading, and according to the central bank, it's supposed to have over 40 trillion trading in the market.
Yeah,
So 40 trillion. And the central bank says they cannot account for 30 trillion,
30 trillion. Yeah.
which is three-quarter of the national currency. And they have decided that because of that, they are going to reproduce new design, new at some point, at some place, it's going to cause hyperinflation. Dr. Adesoya, do you think redesigning and
Before you say that, what that redesign is going to cost is for the money hidden to be brought out, but there'll be a limit of what the central bank is going to accept to come back into the economy, which they can control. You see, that's the picture that I see. It has happened before, some years, maybe in the 70s when the currency was changed, and that was also even under Buhari.
So
No,
how can they
it was
control
not
how
under
can they
Buhari.
control
Sorry.
it, and how will they be able to control it? Dr. Adesoya, if you can highlight that for us, please.
Well, like I said, I am not a financial expert, but you see, my worry, or the pain I have with the kind of system that we run in that country is the fact that it's not as if we don't have policies, but you see, when you have policies, being designed by people who do not have uh, genuine intentions, or probably we have some within the system that have good intentions, but we also have those who are looking around trying to, who are always there to ensure that these policies do not work. For example, one will have said that this is a policy, a welcomed one, but it is coming rather too late, because we understand that the redesigning of currencies should be done within a period of 5 to 8 years in a normal plan. Uh, in the Nigerian system, it has taken almost about 2 decades, and this is just coming now. And we see a lot of, uh, word trading between, for example, the CBN and the Minister for Finance. I mean, who came on here to say she was not in the know of the new policy. That's another issue. One of the things we talk about, a system that is not, serious about, what it does and how it does it. Okay. Now, we have seen a couple of, videos circulating online where, stack of money,
It's
monies are
beginning
being,
to come out from where it's
yeah,
been hidden.
like I said, there are people, it's not as if we don't have policies. We have good policies, and we have people who can implement these policies, but we also have people who look around the corner to ensure that these policies do not work. And of course, who are these people? They are the cabals, they are the politicians. And so, like I said, I am not a financial analyst, but I want to believe that any positive implications of this current move by the CBN may not be allowed to live long. I pray and I hope it does, but
I pray and I hope that Yoruba nation would come so that it does not live long. Now, Baba Ajala, let me ask: if Yoruba nation comes and Nigeria is dissolved, what then happens? All this printing of money, would that be a waste of money, or would that be worth it? Or
You remember several nations came out of Europe within a space of 10 years,
yeah,
the 1990s. They are surviving. Uh, uh,
well,
Monetary effect on the economy has to be controlled. And then we'll have to have a system of bonds where people who have excess money in Europe and America can put bonds and those bonds can now be used in development. And also, we have a global bank outside Yoruba nation where monies from those of us who are rich enough will put for investment instead of borrowing money from the IMF. IMF will just be allowed to monitor how we are operating within the level of what you call financial probity. Uh, uh, that way, our central bank will now be National Bank of Yoruba land
You,
or Yoruba nation.
I
And
pray and
we
hope
will
so.
have people who are astute enough in the banking procedure so as to merge it up to be able to work to the level of which international banking ethos is conducted. When we put all these things in place, we also encourage few people who establish uh, uh, specific types of banks for industry development and so on, as we have worldwide, right? We have people capable of doing that. So we will not have a shortage of currency for development. uh, we will not want to, because there will be constant, because we are a new nation starting, there should be a constant sort of 3 monthly review and auditing of the flow of currency within. And we encourage our women who put money in in their pots at home. We teach them how to operate this technology. Most of them have mobile phones, and then we make a security allowance for making sure that these phones are not hacked and people losing their money, even though it's still going to happen. But the frequency of loss should be reduced. So putting in place these things cannot be done as Nigeria is today, because even with the change of currency, it's still going to be scuttled by people who know how to, who have been doing that. If I would tell you, most of the currencies that are supposed to be cancelled, sent to the central bank for
Are
burning,
still in
uh,
circulation.
they are brought back out by cabal
Hmm.
that I know of.
This
And
cabal will
yeah,
probably have to
because
hit
we are
them.
run as a cabal right from even before independence. We should not be scared of it. And the head, Kaduna is the center. That's the fact. Kaduna is
Yeah.
the center. And if
Thank
I
you.
may want to add to it, it's a Yoruba man and an Englishman who built Kaduna in 1917. You will not find the record anywhere. It's not even on the internet. But we have the
Before we
document.
go on our next phase, we'll just take this short advert and then we'll come back and talk about the security situation, the recent alarm by the US, the kidnap of the former vice chancellor of University of Ibadan, and all the ongoing kidnap that is happening in Nigeria. So we just
So there's a
get,
kidnap of, sorry, I didn't hear about it.
yeah.
Horrible.
kéré o gbogbo ọmọ káàró òjìrè ọmọ yorùbá káàkiri àgbáyé ẹ máa gbọ́ ètò yìí yorùbá self determination movement dialogue ètò ìfọ̀rọ̀jomitoro ọ̀rọ̀ nípa ilẹ̀ yorùbá ni níbo ni ilẹ̀ yorùbá ti ń bọ̀ níbo la dé dúró níbo la ń lọ báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe é tí kò fi mọ̀ ké bí eku nílẹ̀ yorùbá tí yóò fi mọ̀ ké bí ẹyẹ nílẹ̀ yorùbá tọ́mọ èèyàn fi mọ̀ fọhùn bí ọmọ èèyàn nílẹ̀ yorùbá ó dọwọ́ èmi àti ẹ jẹ́ ká parapọ̀ kájọ gbélẹ̀ yorùbá lárugẹ sẹ́ni tó sọ lẹ́nu onítọ̀hún sàkóyà kọ́ni yorùbá self determination movement dialogue a ó máa rí ètò yìí wò lórí ysdm global tv ysdm youtube channel ysdm facebook page fẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ pè nọ́mbà yìí +44 744 21 77 677 tàbí +121 5206 7665 a gbé ètò yìí kalẹ̀ fún ìtẹ̀síwájú àgbéga ilẹ̀ yorùbá ni ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ ṣe é.
Yeah, thank you very much for that brief advert. So Do join us every weekday on Monday for YSDM Dialogue, where we bring to you YSDM officials to tell us what they are doing towards the actualization of Yoruba Nation. So very quickly, our time is fast spent. We've got just 10 minutes. The US brought an alert that there's imminent attack in Abuja. And as usual, the Nigerian government denied it. And swiftly, they started acting on it. And quite a lot of arrests were made in Abuja. We did hear that the American soldiers came in and were helping the Director of State Security to conduct arrests, and quite a lot of terrorist kingpins were arrested. And just this week as well, the former Vice Chancellor of University of Ibadan was kidnapped on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. He was shot. Luckily, he escaped. He didn't die. The bullet hit his cap, smeared it, and he left. He is the Vice Chancellor. Friends and family were able to contribute 15.5 million, as we heard, for his release. Some other people paid 3 million for release. Some people, a lot of people were killed. And we hear their advocate, Gumi, who was saying, if you redesign the Naira, then they would resort to taking ransom in dollars. So I don't know why. Some people will look at it and say it's still funny, but it's not. I don't know, Dr. Adesanya, what do you think? The US alert. Let's start with the US alert, just quite quickly. I know we're constrained with time.
We don't really have time, but let me start with this. I have a friend, a professor friend, who was my secondary school mate. He's in UI. Sometimes ago, on my secondary school platform, we were, the issue came up, and we were talking about all this, kidnapping, all of that. And what he said was, you people should come home now. And I was mad at him, and I had to privately call him. And he said, sometimes a friend of his, I think he was also a lecturer in UI, was also kidnapped. And he said after they paid ransom, the guy was killed. And I was pained. And he's like, and this same guy was saying, hey, you guys abroad, why don't you come home? And I was mad at him. Now this is another.
Dr. Bo, they went home. He invested, he created employment. Eventually, he was killed.
Yeah, this is another high-ranking, officer or official of UI. So now the US, like a watchman, has sounded the alarm. Watchmen would not sound alarm when there is when there's no need to, even if anything is not happening now. I mean, they
probably see they have technologies we don't have,
of course,
and they see what we can't see,
of course. So for the Nigerian government to come out to say that it was just an uncalled for alarm, I think of course we know what is happening. And
I'm going to come to Baba Jala, and I'm going to say this because we should not take this with a pinch of salt. The US told Ukraine that there was going to be war, and they laughed it off. Even the president of Ukraine laughed it off. But today, he's begging Ukrainians not to come home. What do you think Yoruba needs to be doing now? Because it seems like the worst part is the Americans are saying Yorubas are doing party. They're going to party day and night, not knowing that àwọn Yorùbá bọ̀ ní a kì í fi iná sóòrù lésù. But eléyìí ilé tí wá jó tán, still we don't even know. What do you think our people should be focusing on? And I don't know. Maybe you can enlighten us and let us understand how our people are thinking.
I think our people are ignorant. but they see the truth around them, but they ignore it. Kule shele. And some are even scared, really, because I call around. The unfortunate thing is that we should wake up to the reality that the Yoruba race is in danger of being uh, wiped out.
Exterminated.
That is the fact. But because some of our people already know, are doing things to make sure that it doesn't happen.
So we
I
should
would not
actually
want
be
us to
grateful
be
to those
yeah,
people who
because
are conscious.
the fact is that the the situation that the U.S. alerted is very, very imminent. If the US sat down and pretend not to know, they would have been the main target of this attack.
Yeah,
And when
they
they
said it
become
that
the main target of the attack,
one
they will
in
be
fact, two in
the
five
people will be
attacks,
asking for dollar this year.
2 in 5 attacks in Nigeria are on US
Yes.
diplomats and officials. And
And
that is
also
why,
United Nations. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to do a finality, and it is, I don't want to say this on air because I know where it is coming from. It's coming from the Middle East and Asia. It's being sponsored. If you look at the internet, Nigeria is regarded as an Islamic nation. That's fact. We are ignoring it to our own peril. I sent
that
out some documents many years back. Nigeria is a divided nation. Then I wrote below it. That was published for almost 2 decades by British press, British Broadcasting Service. When they want to write about Nigeria, other countries in Africa, Nigeria is a divided nation. We ignore that at our own peril. And then they draw a map of the Sharia states. Those are semi-autonomous independent nations within Nigeria. And they are using the money and they are extending their boundaries to Niger. I keep on repeating this. Where the Emilocom man,
Hmm.
I hope you will understand that the borders of Nigeria has changed into
It
Niger.
has moved. Yeah.
So you should be able to go and campaign in Niger for votes. You see, it's not a joke. It's a very serious and imminent danger we are facing, the
Hmm.
Yorubaris. I will on this platform tell all Yorubas that we are in a serious danger. The country has been dissolved since 2018. So everything happening now is playing to the record. And they know that we Yorubas are more interested in dancing and killing cows and forgetting that there's a danger lurking. Most of our people now can't go to farm.
hmm.
My farm has been attacked
and,
3 times.
and that's the issue. Last week I heard WAEC was burnt. Several institutions were burnt in Lagos. Is this a calculated attempt to start destroying the infrastructure of the South?
That is
Kàkà pé
true.
kó má
That is
jẹ́
true.
ṣinṣin, àá fi
That is
ṣàwàdà.
true. That is true. Yes,
Uh,
my brother, yes, my brother who are now senior is saying that me local.
I don't understand how, because this is my argument. We've got Fashola in Buhari's government. We've got Osibanjo, vice
They are puppets. Don't
president.
mention the names. They are puppets.
No, I'm just saying, in the government, we've got several high-ranking Yoruba men in that government. I cannot see 1,000 kilometers of road that Fashola, as the Minister of Works, built in Lagos. So a lot of people say when you have Emilokon as the president, then he's going to do magic. A magic
There's no
that
magic.
is not done all this while.
I can
With regard to security, it's affected everybody in Nigeria. Virtually, there's no place that is spared. But the northeast, but the northwest, the middle belt, the southwest, the south, and the southeast. Dr. Adesanya, in just 1 minute, what do you think we in the south? What do you think we need to do now before our land become IDP camps? Because right in the north, we have over 5 million people in IDP camps in their own country. They cannot go home for fear of their lives. What do you think, irrespective of whether you are Yoruba or Igbo or Bini, or is it not the time to put all our security infrastructure into one and fight this cause head on and said, enough of Nigeria? Because it seems we can just talk from now till eternity. If we don't take action, nothing would come to pass. Just quite quickly, 1 minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you. I think we Yorubas, permit me to say this in Yoruba, Awala Ofura, they have taken, you look at all infrastructures that we have in the Southwest. I want to talk about Southwest now. They were built some in the maybe late 50s, 60s, and 70s. From the 80s, everything began to, get collapsed, And then when they moved to Abuja, everything became totally,
desolate.
Now, tell me one thing that in the 90s, one infrastructure that was built in the 90s, the 200s, none. Now, coming to your question, Yorùbá say gígogoro má gún mi lójú. Ó ṣe òkèrè láti ń wo. Ní wo láti òkèrè mọ́. Now, it is time for every Yoruba person, and by extension, all Southerners, and probably the Middle Belters, it is time for them to take their destinies in their own hand, or else their race will go into extinction.
Baba Jala, let me just come to you. Just 1 minute before we round up. Dr. Adesanya just said, let's take our destiny into our hands. We need to dissolve the amalgam. Quite a lot of people have said everybody needs to come out for a mega rally, a mass, because you see a lot of people coming out looking for 1,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 or 50,000 from politicians, which actually will not save the day. What will be your message for our Yoruba people, the Igbo people, the South, that should it just be a Yoruba affair or let the whole South choose a date and say, let us shut this down until they not realize that the power actually belongs to the Southerner? What's your take?
If I may correct Patrick, when you said until, do we really need to keep Nigeria alive again? We don't need to make them realize. We want to say emphatically that we no longer want to be part of the amalgam. Like I said, and I keep on repeating, and which I told the leadership in the North, because even one of the sultans, I sent his son, who I sent to his father, is dead now, is a friend of mine. That it's best for us not to deceive ourselves. If we don't speak English language, there's no way my Bale will come to your land to come and
I understand what you're saying.
So we have always been cheating ourselves in Africa, particularly Nigeria. We are saying we are united. In what form? Taba solid Yoruba, ìkan náà ni wá. Ìkan náà ni wá ni pé ọmọ ìyá kan náà ni wá. Ṣé ọmọ ìyá la jẹ́ pẹ̀lú Fúlàní tàbí Igbo?
And that is true, because if I don't speak English, an Igbo man probably would not even understand me, because I don't even understand Igbo.
This is the fact that is in Africa, particularly.
We keep deceiving ourselves with the language and thinking we are one because of English language.
If I may drop this last point, Leopold Senghor said it, that for Africa to develop, Nigeria has to be dissolved.
So the solution of Nigeria is the only solution
to the startup of African development.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex Oluwole Ajala, and thank you, Dr. Seyi Adesoya. This is where we would call it a day for today. I want to thank our studio director, Coach Tak, for helping us in the background to get things running. We want to also thank our viewers who have stayed with us all this while. We're sorry we couldn't come on air last week. I guess that was because majority of us were away. And today we've had some technical glitches, which meant that we couldn't come on air on time. But hopefully, same time, same place at 7 p.m., you should see us on your screen, where we bring to you the matters that are arising. If you want to contribute, you can always go to the YouTube page or the Facebook and send your comment, which will be shared with our viewers. And we also talk about YSDM dialogue every Mondays. That's going to be like a live-in session where you can call in and send in your question, and you would definitely get answers to them. So until we come your way again next week, keep well and continue to stay
Hold
blessed.
on, before you go, I put a suggested topic that we should discuss. I hope we will do that next week. Transport, infrastructure, and economy.
Yeah, we'll come to that next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Sheyi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Please to get your custom. And we've been having a good interaction and rapporteur with all this discussion. I hope our listeners will join me in acknowledging Sheyi's very powerful contribution into this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Bye, sir.
Yeah.
lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́ làbẹ̀wò kúkú dùkú lóko Podium International wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́ látìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń bàbọ̀ wọn ò fìgbà kan tẹ́rì o wọ́n ti wá ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbé bẹ̀bẹ̀ dé Podium Cinema ni wọ́n tún gbé dé Podium Cinema lórí YouTube ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn kẹ́ ẹ subscribe ibẹ̀ lẹ́tì mọ̀ wọ àwọn àjá àbálẹ̀ fíìmù ẹ̀dọ̀kí fíìmù tó léfo gan tààrà Podium Cinema mo bẹ́rí fún yín fíìmù mẹ́sàn-án ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n kó jáde o àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbé fíìmù èkíní májẹ̀mú ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀kejì my wet ẹ̀kẹta ọmọ ẹni ẹ̀kẹrin àlàmú èkó ẹ̀karùn-ún àìmọ̀ ṣe wá rí pé nǹkan kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgbó ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ eléyìí lẹ́ti kẹjù èdè Yorùbá ni wọ́n fi ṣe àwọn fíìmù yìí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà sẹ́ẹ̀kẹsàn-án èdè òyìnbó ni wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀kẹfà tẹ́mà èkeje the casting ẹ̀kẹjọ M1 the detective ẹ̀kẹsàn-án 100 M1 the detective at 100 orí síríìsì lẹ́fì máa wò ó ìyẹn dàgbéléwò nìyẹn Podium International Podium Cinema ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn lórí YouTube wọ́n wà lórí Facebook wọ́n wà lórí Instagram Podium Cinema ó ti dọbẹ̀ ẹ subscribe.